So guys, I want to get something out there straight up. I'm not here to talk about the vaporfly 3 in terms of cushioning, response, lockdown, and all the other stuffs that shoe reviewers normally talk about. I know loads of people have already done that, and I know that most runners have seen tons of reviews of the vaporfly, arguably the most popular running shoe. I want to approach these amazing shoes from a different perspective, from the perspective of the average casual runner, from a non-competitive athlete's perspective. Now, these shoes are selling in the US for $250 US. And if you are living outside the US, you are most likely paying even more for these shoes. For instance, here in Saudi Arabia, they are selling between 1,200 to 1,600 Saudi Riyal. Now, that is a whopping 320 to 426 US. That's quite a huge chunk of money to pay for a pair of running shoes. But these shoes are always selling out as soon as they are released. And I understand why, because runners have romanticized these shoes. The vaporfly and its brother, the alphafly, have been romanticized by runners. There are many a runner's dream running shoe. And there's good reason for that. Empirical evidence have shown the superiority of these shoes over most running shoes. Since Nike released these shoes in 2016, the running world has never been the same. Decades-old records have tumbled in quick succession. In every podium, people in the vaporfly and its adaptations dominate. One particular year, 2019 or 2020, the people running in the vaporfly and its adaptations took 31 out of 36 podium appearances. So the hype is real. These shoes actually do offer a competitive advantage. But the essence of this video today is to assess these shoes from the perspective of the non-competitive athlete. As a non-competitive athlete, are these very expensive shoes actually worth your money? That's the question that we want to answer as we review these shoes based on value for money for the non-competitive athlete, for the average casual runner. That's the angle we want to go with these shoes today. So stay with me as I take you through what science says and then what my experience and other people's experiences also say. Hi guys, it's your man Dr. CY, the running doc, and thanks for watching this. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you are still waiting for. So click the subscribe button already so you don't miss out on all the good stuff we got coming. That out of the way, let's head back to the shoe review. So I've been running in these shoes for a while and I've had some really fun moments in this. To prepare for this video, I went through some research work that has been done on the vaporfly and other carbon plated running shoes. But for today, I also did something extra. I did a half marathon. Now the first half of the half marathon, 10.5 kilometers, I did in the vaporfly 3. And then the second half, I did in the Asics Nova Blast 3. So at the end, I compared my pace and also how I felt running in the first half and the second half. Before I delve deeper into my experiences in these shoes, first of all, let's look at what research says, called the Vaporfly 4%. Because Nike claimed they improved the running economy by 4%. Running economy is the energy that you need to run a particular distance. So if you have a better running economy, you can run faster for longer using the same energy as someone who had a poorer running economy. That was how the competitive advantage came in these shoes. But that was what researchers used to calculate and reach the verdict that with shoes like this, humans can now run a sub 2-hour marathon, which of course has been achieved by Eliud Kipchoge, running in adaptation, the alphafly. So that is by the way. The Nike's claims have long been corroborated by independent researchers. Several other people, independent people, not working for Nike and not sponsored by Nike, has also studied the shoes and they found out that the shoes actually did improve the running economy by up to 4%. But there was a catch in most of the earlier studies that were done. Most of the earlier studies done in these shoes were focused on elite athletes, running between 14 to 18 kilometers per hour. Now, 14 kilometers per hour is quite a fast pace. That is 3-hour marathon pace. So the study was done on those who are able to complete 42-kilometer marathon in 3 hours and less. They found out that these shoes actually did improve the running economy by up to 4%. But they noted that at faster paces, the improvement was better. So at 18 kilometers per hour, they were improving the running economy by up to 4%, while at 14 kilometers per hour, it was about 2.7%. So now that raised the question to what about even slower runners? What about the rest of us, who trudge between 10 to 12 kilometers per hour and less? What about us? What about the rest of us, the average non-competitive athletes, running at much slower paces? Do we also have such benefit from these shoes? But the good news is that several other people have also done studies that were focused on slower runners. Top of that list is the study done in 2022 by Joubert and Domini. They focused on slower non-competitive athletes running between 10 to 12 kilometers per hour. All right, 12 kilometers per hour translates to about 5 minutes per kilometer pace. Then 10 kilometers per hour is also 6 minutes per kilometer. They found out that at 12 kilometers per hour, these shoes improved the running economy by about 1.4%. Whereas at 10 kilometers per hour, the improvement in the running economy was just 0.9%. So you can imagine the benefit that will also be for even slower athletes running at less than 10 kilometers per hour or less than 6 minutes per kilometer. So back to my own experiences running in these shoes. The first point is that these shoes are super light. These are about the lightest shoes that I have put on my feet. At my size, US 11 or EU 45, they weigh just 210 grams. The other shoes close to it in weight are the Adidas Adizero Takumi Sen 9 that weighs 212 grams, and then Puma Deviate Nitro Elite that weighs also 212 grams. The Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3 weighs 232 grams, so they are about 22 grams heavier. So that's just to put the weight in perspective. And when you put these shoes on your feet and just stamp and move around, you appreciate how light these shoes are. Now, the next thing I notice also running in these shoes is that they are super bouncy. Immediately you just lace up these shoes and stand on your feet and walk around, you just feel the softness and you just feel the bounce. At faster paces, that's when you really appreciate what you can get out of these shoes. Now, the next thing too that I noted was the lockdown of these shoes. We are perfect. There was no heel slippage at all. I think the additional foam in the upper part of collar and heel counter keeps the heel locked in and also decent ankle support. There's no serious padding on these shoes, but it's still very soft around the ankle. Another thing I liked with the lockdown and all these things of these shoes is the lacing. If you look at the lacing, you see that the lacing is not on the middle, which is the highest point of the dorsum of the foot. With this lace by the side, they were actually much more comfortable. I like the way the laces were designed, like serrated margins. Once you tie up these shoelaces, they are locked in. If you run in these shoes for 100 kilometers, these laces are not loosening until you untie them yourself. Another good point I noted on these shoes is the breathability. So you literally feel the wind flowing through your feet as you are running. The breathability is superb. The upper is very light and comfortable. And another thing too I enjoyed is the toe box width. Almost too wide for my feet. Those with wide feet are going to enjoy this even more. They might not even need to look for wide versions. There was ample room for the toes to nicely move around. One other good point also is the arch support. Arch support in these were just great. Unobstructive, very nice and okay. That helped the feet to just roll nicely from landing to toe off, smoothly without any strain on the feet. And then on stability, well, these are neutral runners, but there was no stability issues for these. They are pretty decent and nicely stable. Running in these, I did not experience any stability issues at all. Now, the next point is cushioning. That is where it comes with mixed feelings. Now, when you are standing on this and walking around, they deceptively feel like a max cushioned shoe, but they are not. Now, because the Zoom X foam is so soft, you just feel the bounce and the softness, and you enjoy it. You think that, this is a max cushioned shoe, but it's really not. The shoes somehow encourage mid-foot striking, and I did enjoy that in the earlier part of the run. Mid-foot striking in this were just perfect. But when I reverted to my natural heel strike, after about a couple of kilometers, I found the cushioning to be suboptimal. I did feel some jarring sensations up my feet, not too pronounced, but they were significant because by the time I got to 10K, I was beginning to feel some soreness on the medial side of my leg and my knees. And to highlight that, when I changed the shoes to the Asics Nova Blast 3 in the second half of the run, my feet and legs really felt good and relaxed because then I was getting maximal cushioning. The cushioning I got in this is about the level of cushioning that I got in the Adidas Adizero Takumi Sen 9. So that's about my experiences running in these shoes. So finally, I compared my pace in the first half of the half marathon, which I did in the Vaporfly 3, and the second half, which I did in the Asics Nova Blast 3. Of course, you know that several things affect your pace, including your fitness level at that time, your mood, the temperature, the weather, That's why I did the run today in 2 halves. Now, if you look at this screenshot, you see that there was no dramatic improvement in pace running in these compared to running in a regular, nicely cushioned, decent, lightweight shoe like the Nova Blast 3. And if anything, my leg felt better when I was running in the Nova Blast 3 because of the level of cushioning they offered. And I think this corroborates what the researchers found earlier, that at slower paces, the advantage of these shoes is lost. Besides, as a casual runner, when you are going for long runs, comfort and protection of the feet is a very important key factor because your feet plants on the ground and bears weight much longer than the person that is running very fast. So for slower runners, things like cushioning and stability becomes even more important. So what am I saying finally? These shoes are great, but I think these shoes are great for competitive athletes when you are chasing seconds. Like in a race where the difference between gold and nothing may just be 3 seconds. where the difference between coming first and fifth is just about 10-15 seconds. These shoes can give you the edge. But for the rest of us, casual runners, don't expect to just get a significant difference in pace just because you are running in the vaporfly. Especially if you are not running fast, they may not do so much for you. So a casual runner in this is just like giving a Ferrari to somebody that can barely run 50 miles an hour, you know. The full potential of the car is untapped, and that's what happens when most slower runners run in shoes like this. Your performance level is not enough to be able to get the best out of these shoes. And when you consider the money that you have to pay to get it, then you consider, is it really worth it? Then you should be the judge of that. You know, I want to also put out there that don't expect any shoes to do the work for you. First of all, you need to build your stamina, you need to build your endurance and your pace, and then you can now begin to, because it's actually a joy. Anytime I hit a new personal best in my pace, it's a good encouragement to run further and run longer. You know, everybody enjoys that. But then just going for this is not going to give you any magical benefit. And compared to the price these shoes are selling in the market, they may just be like a waste of your money. But if you want to have these shoes, money is not your problem, you can afford them, you want to have these shoes, you know, take photos in them, and own them, wear them, and enjoy them, then feel free and do that. But don't expect that they are going to dramatically improve your pace. You really need to, first of all, get a nice endurance, get a nice pace, build your stamina, and then when you are running at very fast paces, then you can go for these super shoes and then expect to get something nice from them. I'm not dissing the vaporfly. These are fantastic shoes. Everybody knows. So many athletes have won loads of laurels in this. They have helped athletes smash world records. But what I'm saying is that in the hands of the average casual runner, the full potentials of these shoes will be untapped. And the amount of money you have to pay to buy these shoes, from my angle, is not justified. We can as well leave these shoes for the elite athletes. You know, like so many other runners, for long I've been wanting to review these shoes. I've been waiting for the price to come down a little, or maybe go on a promo so I can get it, but they never go on a promo. But for my channel, I needed to do this for my subscribers, you know, give them my own take on these fantastic racing shoes, the Nike Vaporfly 3. So guys, that's my take on this. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching this, and see you in the next one.